What is going on, everybody? It's Kellen Nitro coming at you live for another Nitro's Take. Well, live. And joining me to talk all things AEW Full Gear, as it was a Full Gear pay-per-view last night from Minneapolis, Minnesota, for All Elite Wrestling, is my favorite lapsed wrestling fan, Mr.TL. How you doing, sir?
Very good and very lapsed. How are you today?
Very good and very lapsed. And of course, as we start the stream, we have to. I just realized what I did there. Whoops. Anyways, let's bring forth Undertaker.
Oh God!
On the bottom with some fun facts before we get into the tangible results from last night's AEW Full Gear pay-per-view. If you'd like to comment on what you've seen and leave a question or a comment on last night's show, the comment boxes are open and operators are standing by. You can check it out in the comment section on your right on YouTube or below if you're on Facebook. If you're late coming to the stream, as some people are trickling in, welcome to the shoe. Yes, that's right. Camera, you're right. Remember, your left is camera right, and your right is camera left.
Oh God, it's so awkward.
Basic television knowledge, everybody. So
yes.
By the way, check out the background. Brand new background, brand new flat. Still working on getting some things together and that stuff, and making this look a little bit more. I guess wrestle centric on these streams and that stuff. It didn't look like it was like coming from like a bar somewhere or whatever, but still working on it, liking the look so far, so I'm very happy with it. And,
shout out to the Tiki Bar.
Tiki Bar. All right. Love it. So and if you dig what we're doing, always check us out at tinyurl.com/Nitro Maniac TV. And like and subscribe. Be like SpongeBob. So there we go. And I'm going to switch up the Undertaker for a second here to get our tangible results. And we'll pop this up later. So this is just something that I've decided to add. That's all fun facts for the pay-per-view, stuff that wouldn't fit on the ticker because we have to have two tickers. There's a character limit to these tickers, apparently. So you have to do it that way. There we go.
How about that?
Right on. So going to our title, AEW Full Gear, happening last night. It was November 13th, 2021, from the Target Center in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And did you catch the buy-in, or you didn't catch the buy-in? You just caught the show.
No, you are so lucky I watched this at all.
I don't know how to answer that.
Well, you know incredible. Me. I'm not an AEW guy. It reminds me too much of like Nitro right before it fell apart, and I wasn't a WCW guy in the first place. And it's just too reminiscent of it. I hate it.
Well, let's get after it then. The buy-in opened up with Dante Martin opening things up. There's an angle with him that he is a hot prospect and different factions in AEW are trying to recruit him. Team Taz has been recruiting him for a while. The Acclaimed tried to recruit him to be part of their tag team, I guess make it a trio last night. But Dante Martin basically beat up the Acclaim, sent them running, so I expect more on that. If not on Dynamite on Wednesday, Rampage on Friday, they're building them up a little bit. Kind of taking advantage on the fact of a unfortunate situation with Leo Rush. Leo Rush's grandmother passed away last week, and he couldn't make any of the shows this weekend at all. So they shifted around some of the booking and stuff like that. So more on that probably Wednesday, if not Friday.
All right.
So there we go. So that's that. And then we have our opening contest, our inaugural contest, as they used to say on the old pay-per-views back in the day. It was a women's tag team match involving 4 first-round survivors from the TBS tournament. These 4 women have moved on in the TBS tournament for the TBS title. Nyla Rose and Jamie Hayter taking on Thunder Rosa and Hikaru Shida.
I'm so glad I didn't see this one.
I'm just going to grab the time here for the hardcores that like my time thing, because I had a guy message me that's like, I like when you give the time on these things for each match, and I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. Thank you very much. So
that's some good feedback.
The runtime for this was 12 minutes and 32 seconds.
Oh God!
And we finally have a new set. Yes, we were talking about this like long time ago.
Yeah,
we finally have a new set.
It didn't have the chandelier.
No chandelier last night. Yeah. Chandelier's gone.
Finally, that thing looks stupid as hell.
Yeah, exactly. So, so we had the chandelier was gone. It was a whole flat back set. It was sharp. It was awesome. You name it. So it was, it was good. Serena Deeb at ringside during this, so they're playing off of the Shida Deeb rivalry that they're building. Smooth moves, high impact match, couple of huge diving crossbodies. Shida distracted by Deeb on the outside, allowing Vicky to attack Shida. But a jackknife pin attempt a jackknife pin, I should say, off of a beast bomb attempt, and that's the 1-2-3 on Rose. By Shida, and Shida and Thunder Rosa win as Deeb looks on deviously because I think Shida and Deeb had a physical exchange at ringside. So again, continuing stuff that you're going to see on Rampage.
Yay!
Yeah, exactly. So there we go, and that's that. So Orange Cassidy, yeah. There was just one more thing that happened on the buy-in. Orange Cassidy and Best Friends select Orange mystery partner for Wednesday night on Dynamite. It's not going to be somebody from Best Friends, but it's going to be another person from New Japan Pro Wrestling. We found out later on it was Tomohiro Ishii, a strong style competitor from New Japan Pro Wrestling that's kind of reminiscent of Rick Steiner a little bit. It's a real hard-headed, straightforward, pound and ground type guy. That's going to be Orange Cassidy's mystery partner against the Butcher and the Blade on Wednesday night on Dynamite.
All right, I guess.
As I take a sip of my Propel. Is it Propel or Propel?
I believe it's Propel.
Is it Propel? It's
like
not
a Propel. No. What Propel? What kind of water name is Propel? Propel, like to propel yourself forward, or a propeller.
Push propel.
Yes.
Propel.
This is all way more interesting than talking about Orange Cassidy. I'm just saying. Because what the hell is he going to do in a match with a strong style Japanese guy against Dad Bods and the Bunny? Like, what are they going to do?
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Exactly.
No, this is kind of coming out of nowhere, honestly. It's kind of a thing where we didn't really expect much coming out of the pay-per-view for Orange Cassidy because he didn't have much going into the pay-per-view, and now they're trying to, I guess, feed him something, but he's been kind of signed to a partner contract with New Japan, and now he's part of the Chaos stable, which is Okada's stable in New Japan now. And there's rumors that Orange Cassidy could be part of their big Wrestle Kingdom card in January. So I guess this is cross promotion.
For what? He's a comedy act, and he's not very good as a comedy act. Mm-hmm. What is the point of him going to Japan? They bite for shit like this.
That I have to bring in a New Japan guy to talk about. I haven't watched enough New Japan to do it, but I think the plan right now is to stack that January 4th. Well, they got 2 nights at the Tokyo Dome on January 4th and January 5th. New Japan does, and they always do their big dome show. That's Japanese WrestleMania, basically. So that's
yeah. But their big thing, their big get was Orange Cassidy. Really?
Yep. We have to wait and see what else, I guess, if that's it.
Maybe they just need someone to help put up the ring before the event. Idiotic.
Anyways, that's if you missed the buy-in, you didn't miss much on the buy-in. So there we go.
Not even worth the free admission.
Yep. Going into the main pay-per-view. And this was the opening contest of the main pay-per-view, if I can find it. Darby Allen versus MJF, and this was a banger, an absolute banger of a match. This one went 22 minutes and 6 seconds. Two of the young pillars of all elite wrestling. I almost said all Japan wrestling. I wish. Two of the young pillars collide. Darby flips a car in the video. That was pretty cool.
Dumb.
Sting's in the house. Sting basically handed off the match to Darby and just said, listen, I don't need to be at ringside. This is mano y mano. See ya at the beginning of it. So, and then he walked out, got the pop, waved to the crowd, left.
Yeah, I got my money. Fuck you, kid.
Yeah. That's it. I'll see you later. I'm sure you're fine.
Bye, son. I'll pick you up after the game.
Yeah. Exactly. The crowd was 50-50. Did you notice that? They were hot early on, and there was some MJF chants along with the Let's Go Darby chants.
That came on later. To start the match, though, it was pretty unanimous that Darby was the good guy, MJF was the asshole. Like, that's how it started. And like, as soon as you heard the music and the entrance, MJF was getting booed immediately, which he should, as he's a heel.
Yes.
And that makes sense. So that was fine. And then later, as the match progressed, you started to hear the 50-50 chants. Going back a little bit on something, that little vignette where it goes black and white and Darby picks up a random dude wearing an MJF mask on his face, and then he picks him up as a passenger. They flip the car, and then he throws a Molotov cocktail into the car and blows it up. Okay. The fuck was that?
They're playing off of the whole one of the whole character or origin stories of Darby Allin is he was involved in a car accident when he was a child, and his uncle was driving the car drunk, and he's and his uncle died, but he survived a car wreck.
You know, I've never looked to notice. Does Darby Allin have like the Hardy Boys tape go all the way up his arm?
I'm not sure. I don't know. I have to look at screenshots from last night.
Because it would probably hide all of his darkness and sadness and emo things. Yeah, I just made that joke. I don't give a shit. Darby. Friggin' emo kid. Which, by the way, I need to point this out. In this match, this literally looked like a college kid wrestling a high school kid.
Mm-hmm.
And they've had quite a few disagreements at the bus stop. And now the varsity rich kid from the private school, whatever, is going to beat the shit out of the emo kid who they've made fun of for apparently being in some kind of car crash that his uncle did. What the fuck was that vignette? What the fuck? I can't get over how dumb that was.
Yeah, it's tough to explain to non-AEW fans. I think that one was just a nugget for the hardcores, if you will.
Newsflash! There are no AEW fans. You need to bring people into the product. They get maybe 1 million as viewers. They're trying to get worldwide global exposure. You can't teach people this bullshit. This is not the way to introduce new fans to stuff. Especially when this is your opening match on the segment of the entire program. You've got, hey, let's check out this AEW pay-per-view. Come on over. We'll watch together. All this good stuff. And you see that as the opening. And everyone's going to be like, the fuck did I just see?
Yeah.
And then they get into the match. You realize it's a high school kid and a college kid having a scuffle.
Right. Yeah.
At a bus stop. And I'm just like, this is AEW. This is exactly what I thought it was going to be. And here we go. And of course, the opening match is way more than an opening match. The opening match is a damn near main event on a televised show. Yeah. That's the way they went with it.
Yeah.
This was go ahead.
I have down sensational opener, lots of pace changes. Towards the end of the match, finally, Darby had issues hitting his signature moves on MJF, but that just leads to how good of a wrestler MJF is, I think, and how good of a heel wrestler MJF is. But Darby finally nails the coffin drop to the floor on MJF, and then shortly after, Wardlow and Spears, MJF's partners in the Pinnacle, tried to interfere, but Sting intercepts. MJF with mind games, trying to goad Darby to hit him in the ring with the skateboard. That kind of was a weird spot where they slid the skateboard in and it was like, hit me with it. And then Darby just tossed it to the side like, well, no. And then, of course, the crowd's like, well, no, of course he's not going to hit you with it. We have faith in him that he won't hit you with it. It's not a no DQ match.
I would have liked to have seen, like, if he could do it, and you might as well, because you're going to throw all the shit against the wall in this match anyways, to use the skateboard to ride along into some kind of clothesline or a drop kick or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But instead, he just throws it out of the ring. Mr. MJF pulls out some taped brass knuckles, allegedly. We don't know because it's taped.
Yep.
And hits him over the head with it and gets him with a overhead takeover.
Mm-hmm.
Or what do you call it? They announced this at the beginning. MJF made the ring announcer say, the man who can defeat Darby Allen with a headlock takeover.
Headlock takeover. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah.
And so he actually does it by the very end. He gives him a headlock takeover and pins him with one shoulder completely up, by the way, which I'm just like, oh, you jackasses. You still can't do the simple things right. But this match was, okay, it was all right. It probably could have been a televised main event, be it for Rampage or Dynamite, would have been perfectly sufficient.
Mm-hmm.
This is not an opener. This is a closer.
Okay.
You're supposed to have an opening match to get the fans ready for the main event. You're supposed to build your way to a main event.
Mm-hmm.
This match, along with every other match on this card, was basically, let's try to outdo the other people by doing everything in one shot. And that was an ongoing problem throughout this entire pay-per-view of nobody did the role they were supposed to do. Nobody. Everybody wanted to be a main event. And this is completely indie-style thinking and indie-style booking. Let's do every move, give them everything we have in every second of everything. Let's not give the crowd a chance to breathe. And they're going to be out of breath by the third match. And oh my God, they did.
Mm-hmm.
So usually an opening match is maybe 10 minutes, maybe 12, somewhere in there. Something nice and short and crisp, tells a good story and makes you want to watch the television show that comes up afterwards. This didn't do that. This didn't do that at all. This is the main event.
So we're differing already off the bat, which makes for a good conversation and a good, a good live stream on a good channel. I have down that it was a sensational opener, lots of pace changes, which I like to see. About the only thing that I thought at times was this thing kind of dragged a little bit. Like I expected this maybe to go 10, 15 minutes and they went 20 with it. Both guys can go 20, like you said, in that main event scenario and that stuff. I don't think they needed to go 20 with this one. I think that maybe you could have went like 10 or 15 and probably still got the same, smoke out of it, I guess. If you're looking for smoke. But there we go. So
exactly that. Like they did not need to drag out this match the way that they did.
Yeah.
Also, Darby Allen needs to watch his ass. What I mean by that is, I understand he's a daredevil and he's going to do all these crazy ass moves. I think one time he got put into a body bag with thumbtacks and he just threw him over the rope blind. Yeah. Now, this one, MJF does a power bomb, but the landing is on his knee.
Yeah.
On one single knee.
Yeah.
And Darby Allen took that full force. Yeah. As soon as that happened, I'm like, this kid's going to fuck up his back before he gets into the main event picture. This guy's going to get paralyzed. He's like, this kid needs to watch himself.
Yeah.
Because, daredevil stuff and flips and jumps and all that is great, but it's not going to be worth a damn when you can't walk at the age of 30. So, like, this kid needs to, like, watch what he's doing and save the special moves for special times. Yeah. Not bust out absolutely everything every time we see you, because then it's no longer special. It's just expected.
Yeah, it's expected that this guy's going to flag himself off of the balcony or something like that, right? So, yeah. No, that's interesting. So definitely something we'll be watching in upcoming pay-per-views and so on and so forth. It's an interesting, background on it is, will they put a governor on Darby Allen? That's a big question, right? So
they should. And people shouldn't say, oh, it's never going to happen. We've already seen it happen. We've seen
it happen a ton of times. Yeah.
Shit,
look back through wrestling history.
And not even in recent history too. Like think of Paige, great women's wrestler. Her back is messed up. She may never wrestle again. And in fact, they expect her to never wrestle again. So she hasn't. So
yeah. Well, she'll never wrestle again in WWE. Yeah,
nor should she, because it's a complete risk to her life, her neck, her spine. So I mean, these things do happen. It can happen. This kid needs to watch himself. If he wants to continue to be a star and to grow and to be a pillar of this company, he's going to need a spine to do it.
Yes. We typically do need backbone to live properly. Yes. that's the important, definitely, important information to have going forward. We move ahead on the pay-per-view, and it was an interesting tag team contest for the AEW World Tag Team Championship. The AEW World Tag Team Champions, the Lucha Brothers, taking on the AAA Tag Team Champions, FTR. And of course, the AEW World Tag Team titles were the only titles on the line in this one. This match itself ran 18 minutes and 36 seconds. And it was the Lucha Brothers that came out on top at the end. Just some quick notes from the match. The weird music and that stuff. I've been asked about this with FTR. Why they change their music? Why they change their presentation and that stuff? It is a full-on tribute to Jim Cornette's Midnight Express tag teams from the 1980s. So the rip-off, knockoff 80s synth, the robes and that stuff, and Tully being kind of the mouthpiece is kind of the knockoff. If you just Google Midnight Express, any Midnight Express match and any era of Midnight Express, and you'll get to see what FTR is doing now. So kind of bringing that back, which for an old school wrestling fan like me, I love it. It's great stuff. Tons of fun. It's pretty cool.
I don't like it because it's not original. And it feels like you say Jim Cornette, and this is one of those Jim Cornette things, they're cosplaying as wrestlers. Instead of being wrestlers, they're trying to act like wrestlers.
Okay.
It's not authentic. It's not genuine. I don't feel like they should be doing that. I like their old presentation, even going all the way back to damn like NXT, where it's like no flips, just fists, stuff like that. And, hard-nosed, straight-up wrestling, guys that would just come out of a bar and beat the shit out of everybody there. That's FTR. This being an ode or a tribute to 80s wrestling, it's not needed.
So by, I guess, doing this tribute, they in fact are violating their no gimmicks type gimmick that they had going on.
Exactly that.
I can feel you.
They've gone from no gimmick to all gimmicks.
All right.
Ridiculous.
And then Lucha Brothers with, I have written, I don't know what that entrance was. That entrance was weird.
The fuck was that?
What was it?
Was that like a war and one of them went down and the Mexicans were still standing?
Yeah, I mean, it's Veterans Day weekend in the States, but And
I guess for Mexico as well.
Well, they just had Day of the Dead down there, so.
No, we are 2 for 2 of what the fuck was that entrances before the entrance. And then all of a sudden the Lucha Bros come out and the crowd's kind of confused with I guess it's Lucha Brothers. Yay, we should cheer for this because it's different. No, you should be silent because it's what the fuck was that? Dumb as shit. Now we get into the match.
Yes, let's get into the match itself. So
I have a question.
Go for it, yeah.
Why do they even have referees in the AEW? Why do they have referees? They don't serve a fucking purpose.
No,
none.
That's from time to time.
There is no 5 counts. There is no, hey, get out of the ring. There is no, hey, that's the legal man. Hey, you need to be hanging on to the tag rope when you tag somebody. Hey, you have to actually tag hands when you tag somebody. You don't just slap them on the back. That's like the rules of wrestling. None of this shit applies. They might as well just have a drone in the ring that can count to 3 whenever someone has a fall.
Bring back Vanguard 1 is what you're saying?
Yeah, give him a job. Give him a job as a referee. Spray paint some lines on him. He can be a referee. Because the referee doesn't do a fucking thing in these matches. This is a tornado tag match with a glorified 3 counter. And it's a Young Bucks match without the Young Bucks. So now you have FTR, who's sort of trying to be a real tag team, and the Lucha Brothers, who are just going to do everything as if they're two single wrestlers, which they were on Lucha Underground, who don't really mesh well as a tag team because they're both singles wrestlers who got pieced together as a package deal when they came to the States. So this match was a fucking mess. From top to bottom, it was nothing but a fucking mess, and the ending was complete bullshit. And what the fuck was that? What the actual fuck was that? I was 2 matches in going, what the fuck am I watching here?
Yeah, it's just the match itself. I thought once it got going was 2 great tag teams, working with each other, and it looked like it felt like watching to me, it felt like watching, maybe not the takeover era NXT, but it felt like watching NXT when it was first starting to get established, leading up to the network and that stuff.
No,
I had that vibe to it, at least for me. But
only reason I disagree with you is that at least NXT had structure. At least when you distract a referee, there's a reason for doing it, and there's also consequences if you touch the referee, outside manager. Because Mr. Is that Tully?
Yes.
That's not Tully. Yeah.
Well, which side? FTR or
FTR?
Lucha? FTR, yeah, Tully. Yeah.
Tully blatantly grabs the referee's leg he grabs Penta's leg.
Yeah.
With the referee looking right at him. And the referee doesn't disqualify the team nor kick out Tully from the match.
Okay.
And I'm just like, there's no rules in this. What's the fucking point? Who determines the winner? Oh, that's right, a 3 count. That's all that matters. It doesn't even matter if it's the legal person or not. Right. By the end of it, jeez, what a piece of shit this thing was.
So if you missed the finish, it was FTR donning the Los Superrenas masks, so the Super Frog masks that they used earlier in the month to win the AAA titles from the Lucha Bros, and they almost snagged a dirty pin, but the Lucha Bros hit a modified tandem magic killer, I think, on Cash for the 1-2-3. It was on the illegal man Cash, and that's another thing too, was Dax was the legal man in the ring with Penta, so they had the pinfall on the illegal man, which was Cash, for the finish.
Everything you just said was so much wrestling lingo, I didn't understand what you just said. So let me break this down for those who are like me.
So I'll put it in layman's terms quickly.
I'm a layman's terms.
Okay, go for it. Go for it, yeah.
FTR goes outside of the ring. Mm-hmm. They put their heads underneath the ring so they can both put on green full luchador masks. Mm-hmm. They tried to do this to confuse the referee as to who's the legal man. Mm-hmm. And in doing so, the illegal man slides back into the ring and still gets pinned for the 1-2-3, and nothing comes of it. That's just how it ends. Mm-hmm. And FTR's pulling off their mask saying, no, didn't you notice? We did the switch. And we're like, are they going to solve that? Nope, they're just going to roll a vignette. Go on to the next match.
On to the next match, yep.
Fucked up ending. Fucked up match, fucked up entrances. Complete bullshit.
Well, complete opposite of what I have written down, because I made a note just to mention this in the review. First hour was solid with my way I was watching it through my eyes. And I thought even with the buy-in match, I thought the buy-in was, just getting back on that match quickly. I thought that one was a very serviceable, you'd see it probably midway through Dynamite type TV match. So, to warm the crowd up, I thought there was, I don't want to say there was nothing wrong with it, but it lacked, kind of pace and motivation at times, but I thought that it was, a pretty good showcase of what this TBS tournament will be like and stuff going forward. And then I was hanging on every match for the first hour. I thought it was, really good, with the exception of the ending of FTR and the Lucha Bros, where, the pause too after the what sequence was this? Oh yeah, the tandem Fear Factor springboard splash that only netted 2 by the Lucha Bros, so that Cash could ring out to the outside or roll out to the outside, grab the mask, and then they start setting up for the finish. That was kind of awkward as well too, because I was like, okay, that's a near finish, and then boom. So
Fucked up all the way around. Didn't like it. That was trash.
Okay. Well, let's move on. I want to get your opinion on this one because I know that you're a fan of both guys. So, number one contendership match between Miro and Bryan Danielson. Winner getting the number one contendership in AEW. And this one went 20 minutes, 6 seconds. So they missed the 20-minute mark by 6 seconds. But I can't even round down with that. I got to round up to 20 minutes. It's 20 minutes and 10 seconds. If it was 20:04, I was like, we could round down to 20 minutes and be fine. But nope, they missed the 20-minute mark by 6 seconds. Oh, well, whatever.
So the very first thing I noticed in this match is, if you look at the previous matches and including this one, everybody is taped up with kinesio tape.
Yeah.
Like everybody's walking into this pay-per-view injured. I'm just like, God damn, what is the budget in this company for kinesio tape? Shit.
Well, they do own the Jacksonville Jags of the NFL, and they also own Fulham FC in the English Premier League. So I would imagine the amount of money the Cons spend on kinesio tape per season is astronomical. So.
Oh shit, they're gonna keep them in business.
Yeah. It might be his company. Who even knows?
Everybody's shoulders, blades, everything was taped up to the nines.
Yes.
Shit. Miro was taped up. He looked like he had like a full leg cast on from top to bottom.
His quad was taped up. Yeah. Yeah.
Yo, he looked like an action figure that you tried to like repair with hockey tape.
The leg cracked off.
Yeah. Do you remember doing that? You try to hold together that guy's leg was falling off with some hockey tape. That's what he looked like. It was craziness. But aesthetics aside, still, this one is a decent match. I don't want to say this, but it's a typical Daniel Bryan match, which I find kind of disturbing that I say it that way, but it's becoming this way. Bryan, I call him Daniel Bryan. Bryan Danielson.
Oh, you're pulling a JR.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've been calling him this for a decade.
Yeah.
And all his the words Daniel and Bryan are contained within his full name somewhere.
Yeah.
So it's easy to slip back and forth. But anyway,
exactly.
I digress. That Bryan Danielson, he has a match style that seems to be a kind of paint by numbers now. It's kind of bizarre, but you're always going to get a quality match, and you're always going to get perfection out of Bryan Danielson. However, it's starting to get redundant, and I don't like that. I don't like that you know what to expect out of him now. I kind of wish there was a little bit more variety or change up or differences in his match. But if you took all of his AEW matches, singles, and you line them up, they kind of have the same structure to them and the same pace to them. And I'm just kind of like, You know what? But that note aside, the match itself is fine. It's good.
Same finish for every single match in this tournament. It was a knockout finish that he and each and every one of his victories were KO finishes.
Yeah, that was weird. I thought Miro got legitimately injured at the end of this one.
Well, the time would suggest no, because they probably were told go 20 minutes and they went 20 minutes.
So for anyone who didn't watch, it was basically a tornado DDT out of the top corner of the ring post. But on the landing, it looked like instead of Miro's head crashing to the mat DDT style, it almost looked like he took a cutter.
Yeah.
But he was knocked out, and then Daniel Bryan, puts him inside of a choke, and then the referee's like, he calls for the bell immediately because Miro's out.
I thought it was a Dragon Sleeper, but I'll have to go back and rewatch. I've only seen this match once, obviously when it aired last night to see, but I have written down in my notes that it's a Dragon Sleeper for the KO victory. And,
right, but he didn't even get to put it on fully.
It was kind of weird. Yeah, it was kind of like a either half or 3/4 type implemented there. So
yeah, it was the ending was a little bit weird, but I understand. It's like, okay, Miro got knocked out, so they called the match. But I was like, ooh, did he really take some damage there? Like real life? I don't know.
To me, it kind of felt like an old Ring of Honor style match, like back when they were, mid 2000s doing the DVD, straight to DVD shows and stuff like that, where that's like the only way you could pick up Ring of Honor was like go buy a DVD and watch, outstanding wrestling for 3 hours on this DVD, and that's it. And then wait for their next shows to come out. either through trading or whatever. But yeah, it kind of had that vibe to it, and especially with the beginning with Danielson extending the hand for a handshake and getting refused, which I think they've done basically since he's made his debut in AEW. He's the one guy that thinks it's Ring of Honor for whatever reason, so he's putting his hand out for a handshake and he's always getting refused. And it's like, no, Brian, you don't have to do that here.
Well, no, but literally, as you say that's what his character has been. He's the American Dragon.
Yes, yeah.
He's not the yes, no Daniel Bryan of WWE. No. He's the American Dragon. So he's literally picked up where that character left off in ROH.
Yes.
And that's where he is now. But at the same time, it's kind of like, well, we know who you've been for the past decade or more.
It's awkward. Yeah.
It's a little jarring. Yeah.
A little bit. So, and some interesting stuff with the post-match. I guess it would be the post-match scrums last night, because they always do these post-match interview scrums with AEW events and that stuff, kind of like a presser where they bring in different athletes and that stuff after pay-per-views and talk storyline or talk about the match or whatever. And Brian basically walking out and saying that all that legit, like the impact testing and that stuff that he was supposed to be doing as part of his condition to return to WWE, apparently he did a series of them around his WrestleMania return, and then after that, it hasn't happened. He says he hasn't gone for an impact test for years.
Oh,
so that and that's what everybody had expected. Especially going into this year, that he was getting the green light every month from these impact tests, to talk about his condition and that stuff, if it's gotten worse or whatever. And Brian's like, no, I feel fine. And, I've got to the point now where, I went through a bunch of testing around WrestleMania when I came back in 2018. But since then, nope. So due to the year difference, it's, end of 2021. That was back in 2018. That's a long time ago. So
yeah. He needs to watch his ass as well.
Mm.
If not for anything else but his own health and safety, maybe he should be getting those done so he doesn't have an accident of some kind.
Yeah.
That's just stupidity on his personal part to not look to get those done. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, we continue to see where this goes. Of course, Bryan Danielson is the new number one contender for the AEW World Championship.
That's the thing. That's the one thing. This match didn't have enough emphasis on the fact that they're fighting for a number one contendership for a title. Mm-hmm. It just feels like a mid-card. Well, sorry. The way that the match was presented was like it's just a mid-card pay-per-view match. It didn't have that emphasis and that urgency of this is a number one title contendership match.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's missing on the presentation point of view.
Would it have been better if it was the initial final that was mapped out, which would have been Danielson versus Moxley?
Oh yeah, way better. That would have been better. Moxley wasn't even on this pay-per-view whatsoever, was he?
No, because he's in rehab right now.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
So he wrestled and he squashed his first round opponent in 2 minutes. And so one could consider that he might have done the same thing to Orange Cassidy as well in the semis.
Okay.
So they were probably going to build Mox up to be this guy who's, won his matches in less than 5 minutes or something like that. And maybe get Brian in a situation where, there's a couple near falls on him in the first 5 minutes and then it becomes a wrestling match. And then you get to see, these two have a wrestling match right off of it. But so that's the thing that was missing, off of this entire tournament, is that Miro basically was subbed in for Moxley. So they had Miro and Danielson.
And I guess when you do that, you already kind of know we already know who's going to win.
Yeah.
There's no chance that Miro takes this match.
Yeah.
So
no,
that takes some of the fun out of it.
Go out there, have a match, make Danielson look good, but we'll talk to you down the line with something. So that's that.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So one half of the world title equation is solved at this point in the pay-per-view. We didn't go to.
Hold up. Also, Miro has a God problem, as I saw from the video package. I don't know why that's important or what the fuck that's all about.
He proclaimed himself as God's favorite champion when he first won the TNT title from Darby.
Oh, I saw the vignette. Yes. And I'm still like, okay, the fuck is this shit?
When he lost the TNT title to Guevara, he said that his God had failed him. So he was denouncing his God.
Yeah.
When he got reinstated, or when he got alternated, I guess, into the tournament for Mox, he said that his God had shown some compassion and that he was on the path of righteousness again. And so I have no idea what he's going to say on Wednesday, but now he's probably going to say that his God has forsaken him once again.
How much of
we're
this,
back at square one.
How much of this is necessary?
None. Probably.
How much of this is entertaining? None.
I find it slightly entertaining, but it's just a guy losing his mind. But that's just me. So, I know. I'm not
your standards. Up your standards, dog. This doesn't do anything for Miro, except for confuse some people who are watching. Like, the fuck is this guy's issue? Fucking weirdo.
Yeah, this guy's issue. Yeah.
All right, next clusterfuck. Let's go.
And this was the clusterfuck of all clusterfucks. This was the Falls Count Anywhere 6-man tag. The super click of Adam Cole and the Young Bucks versus Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, and Christian Cage. I saw this announced and I was like, you're going to probably go for a while on this one. So I'll just give you the match runtime, the result. So it was Jurassic Express and Christian Cage defeating Cole and the Young Bucks in 22 minutes and 45 seconds. And it ended with a concerto by Jungle Boy on Matt Jackson on the ramp for the 1-2 free count, but only after Christian decided to hand his protege Jungle Boy the chair and say, "Yes, son, it is your time now," and handed it off like Simba on the ledge in Lion King.
First of all, that's not how that goes. Second of all, that didn't make a lick of sense because a concerto is better done when it's two people swinging a chair into one victim. Instead of, oh, here, I have a chair, you have a chair. How about I give you my chair so you can do a concerto all by yourself? They're doing the
Seth Rollins variant of the concerto, which is the PG version of the concerto, basically.
Yeah, you put the chair underneath the head while they're on the ground, and then you take your chair and sledgehammer it down.
Yeah.
I'm like, why don't you just do the Edge and Christian, the real concerto, since there's two of you both wielding chairs? That's more effective. But hey, you know what? It doesn't matter because none of that had to make sense anyways, because apparently you can hit people with whatever the fuck you want, and they will still get up with a count of 2. It doesn't matter how many tables there are, how many chairs there are. Was there a kendo stick? Was there a fucking broom handle? I don't know. People are diving off tops of the buildings. Christian Cage he's splashing people from the second row of the friggin' the Target Center.
Yes.
And it still only gets a 2 count. And everything they do is just a 2 count. They're rumbling all over the building. It doesn't matter what they put them through. Railings, barricades, children. I don't know. And everybody's taking every bump in the fucking world. Luchasaurus is doing, what do you call that thing? A Star-Spangled Banner splash. Who gives a shit? I know it's a shooting star. It's a shooting star press. Shooting
star press.
The fuck is this nonsense? And everything's a goddamn super kick.
Yes.
Here's a super kick. There's a super kick. It's like when you only know one move in Mortal Kombat and you keep using it again and again with the kicks and the kicks and the. They've taken anything that's special out of the super kick. It's all gone. It's all gone to waste. Everything Shawn Michaels ever did is worth shit all now. They've just crapped all over this thing. What is it? They had knee pads on that had thumbtacks in it.
Yes.
And then they all did a little knee touch, a gentle knee touch to the head. And what was it? Someone was in a submission hold and they put thumbtacks in Jungle Boy's mouth. I'm like, what the fuck is this? This is just horseshit. This match pissed me off to the point I'm like, I want to turn this off and just call in and tell you I'm not doing this. Fuck this. Go ahead. Whatever you can big up this match all you want. This is a big time wasting piece of shit match that I never want to have to look at again. Yeah. Fuck this match.
I saw this announced on the card and that stuff, and I was like, this is, the not the greatest use of, of somebody. Like, I would rather have seen another Cole Jungle Boy singles match, because I think that would be, the best use of both guys. And again, a Jurassic Express Young Bucks tag match is probably a better utilization of that group as well. Just pure storyline, of course, they're trying to forward the Christian Jungle Boy mentor / student type storyline that's going on with that, along with whoever else was happening in that scene. So I think that match is better left where it is. Just
on a video game where it belongs.
Or forgotten on some streaming service in the future. So this was my least favorite match of the night, obviously. So I didn't feel this one at all. So that's it. And then
also Christian Cage was so taped up from top to bottom with the tensor tape. He had to wear a shirt to cover up the physique he's been working on for the past year.
Yeah. Come on, man.
Everybody's head to toe in tape. I'm like, everybody's coming in this son bitch injured. Oh my God.
Maybe that's why Tony's going out and signing all these free agents, because all his top talent's injured. So he's got to bring in, the B squad.
They're going squad guys. They're going through the fucking meat grinder as the middle match.
Yeah.
For what? God damn it. Also, the size of this match makes no sense either. Christian Cage is a full-grown man.
Yes.
And then some. He's got some nice size to him.
He's a tall man, yes.
Luchasaurus is a pretty giant dude.
6'7", 275. Legit.
Why did those two alone have any trouble with these fucking featherweight strawweights on the other side of the ring or whatever structure they were in?
I don't know.
It made no sense whatsoever. I'm like, these guys should be able to stomp on them and go fee-fi fo fum.
Yeah.
As they do it.
Well, they also had the Super Click side had Nakazawa and Cutler, the two kind of they were basically managers or henchmen. Yeah.
They're non-entities. They're just comedy around the ring, wearing pink and wearing masks on their face because they're, I don't know, they got injured or something. I don't give a shit.
Yeah. Cutler's nose got broken in May. And
good.
So he's been rocking the face cover since. It's kind of like the Cowboy Bob Orton cast thing back in the day.
Well, good. Let Jungle Boy take care of the comedy crew, and then let the two big boys take care of the three little children, and that should be it. But no, somehow this is a fair and equal match. I don't get it.
This time for this would have been better with another Cole Jungle Boy single. I think that would have been good, and also, maybe throw something on the line like #1 contendership for the TNT title. Maybe.
But also in Jurassic Express, don't they have a crony?
Yeah. Yeah, Marco's done. I don't know why Marco wasn't on the show last night. I haven't heard anything about it.
So. There you go. If the other team is two jokers, why can't they have theirs?
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point.
Just throw everybody into this circus.
Yeah, I don't know why Marco wasn't involved. If you're watching and have any details on that, feel free to throw that in the comments section. And
also, what was really funny was the Young Bucks and Adam Cole. They were all wearing pink and black, and Jim Ross and things said it looks like a Bret Hart meet and greet. I popped for that one.
That was good. Yeah.
I'm like, holy shit!
Oh, the cosplay. Great. Yeah.
Yep. Again with the cosplay. It looks like a Bret Hart meet and greet.
It did.
Fucking children trying to be wrestlers.
And see, so they followed that match with, and this is a rant I'm going to get on here too. So tag team match up next. It was Malachi Black and Andrade El Idolo versus Pac and Cody Rhodes, and the runtime for this thing was 16:52. Cody Rhodes and Pac defeated Malachi Black and Andrade El Idolo, but after the match, Cash from FTR and Tully Blanchard came down and simultaneously beat up both Pac and Cody. It's the old, can they coexist? 4 people that shouldn't tag together. They're all hating each other, but they're coexisting, or can they? And we've seen that multiple weeks in a row on Monday Night Raw, multiple weeks in a row on SmackDown. Unless this is a high-level troll job to WWE that's beyond my head space, didn't really need to see that here again. Again, a singles match between Andrade and Pac to make up for the all-out cancellation or miss or whatever would have been great. Would have been good. Now, we've seen that before, but, they have the storyline going that, yes, this is, once and for all, we'll find that out. And then you could throw the caveat of maybe a number 1 contendership for the TNT title for that on the line. Since there's, I don't think really there might be the ranking system for that, but I think they've kind of just abolished it for the TNT title. I know for the world title, they've kind of kept to it a little bit, but, doing what your competition's been doing is not making fun of your competition. It's copying your competition. So I don't know, again, if this was like some elite high-level troll job that, we're just going to have a better wrestling match than what would be on Monday and Friday nights, typically on the other channel. But this one was, I think I said earlier there was a match that was my least favorite. This was my initial least favorite until we started to stream. So, and I believe I've lost TL. TL has dropped. So I will carry the stream until we get TL back on stream here. So, and I believe I'm still streaming. So there we go. Right on. Cool. I tell you what, I will read off no comments coming in, but I got some notes on this match that I took during the thing. Again, I had just talked about the Can They Coexist, and he's back. There he is.
I don't know what just happened. My thing just dropped.
Oh, he just blipped.
Yeah, it blipped out.
Blip happens. You know what I mean? So.
That being said, I've only got from 99% to 31% on this phone left. So.
Okay, so we are going to have to power through here. So
let's see what we can do.
We'll save the discussion for that for another time on another day. So there we go. Moving on. I had my say about that. That's my deal.
I'll just say quickly.
Yeah, go for it.
We're still talking about the Pac match, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So he's a bastard. He's a bad guy. Idolo's a bad guy. Malachi Black is supposed to be a bad guy, and nobody's cheering Cody. So who the fuck are you supposed to like in this match?
Yeah, that's another thing too, is that I don't get what the crowd thing is against Cody right now. There was nothing that he's done recently that's done that. I don't know if it's just because he's supposedly the guy in charge and they have a problem with authority over there or whatever.
Yeah, that's probably it, is because he represents the authority of the company. So they're just going to boo him regardless. But nobody's a good guy in this match, and nobody looks better because of this match. So this match is pointless, and it was a negative on this whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, like I said, it was before we started this thing, it was my least favorite match. I think it still is my least favorite match on there because it didn't really accomplish much at all, if anything. So,
yeah.
AEW World Women's title was on the line next. We had Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, taking on the challenger Ty Conte. And
all I'll say about this is Ty Conte has been on Dark forever. That's the only place I've ever seen her. I don't know why she has a title match. She's kind of a sloppy, kind of a green wrestler to me. The match still got pulled off rather well, but still sloppy-ish. And it doesn't... To me, I'm just looking for Britt Baker to show that she would feel right in place if she was in SmackDown or Raw with that women's division. That's all I'm kind of looking for. And when she gets like really crappy competition, you don't get to see those moments. So I wish she had more moments to be a spotlight as a real elite women's wrestler, but you don't see it when you have people like Ty Conti.
Okay, so 15:24 was the runtime for this thing, and that was the finish. Was the lockjaw attempt reverse, but the momentum was too great as Baker rolls up tie for the 1-2-3. I don't think that this was Ty's best match. I've seen her wrestle like on Dark and on Rampage and Dynamite, some better matchups. I think she's better suited to the tag team that she has with Anna Jay right now, because there seems to be a lot more cohesion with her tag team wrestling than anything else. But this is definitely in her top. I put this match as one of her better showings, even though the start was kind of shaky. You can tell the greenness a little bit. But again, you're right. The quality of opponents has to go up for Britt Baker to kind of show what they have. The women's division is in a better spot in AEW than it was, say, last year or the year before. Definitely off a launch. It's way better than 2019. So, yes. It still keeps kind of not trudging forwards, but I don't know. It's like the horse pulling the cart through the mud. It goes, a few feet forward and then it goes sideways a little bit, and then goes a few feet forward and then sideways. You'll eventually get it up the mountain, but it's kind of drifting a little bit. So
that is a great reference for anyone who's ever played Oregon Trail. So let's go to the next match.
Or Red Dead Redemption, Red Dead Revolver, whichever one.
Redemption. So, definitely Redemption.
Definitely Redemption. Okay, better than Revolver. There we go. Cool.
Revolver was like on PS1 or something, wasn't it?
PS2.
Was it
Late
really?
PS2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Redemption and Redemption 2 far better.
It just missed the PS, I think, like the PlayStation 3 by maybe like a year for its cutoff or something, but that's beside the point. Let's go to the next contest, which was, there you go, CM Punk versus Eddie Kingston. I honestly want to get your opinion because I know you are a CM Punk fan. What'd you think of this? This kind of, the build for this was kind of strange over the past few weeks, and it kind of came out of nowhere. But I was looking forward to seeing it, I guess, because of like chaos, I guess. I don't know.
And that's what this match was. This was absolute chaos. CM Punk needs to just go with the CM trunks because the long boys look stupid, and so did these little booty shorts he was wearing. What the fuck was he thinking? These look so stupid.
It's an MMA look, I guess.
It wasn't, because they were shorter than MMA.
Oh, they were shorter than MMA trunks.
They look like the old basketball shorts they used to wear in the 70s with like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Like, they look bad. I was like, what the fuck is he doing?
His ROH gear from like 2003 and 2004 looked better than what he was wearing last night. And they were like the old school, just basically gym shorts with Punk on the side of them.
Yeah, those are the long shorts. Yeah, the long shorts. Those look better. The soccer shorts.
Better, way better. Yeah.
This was stupid. But anywho, one thing that I forgot to mention, but now we can get to it. Throughout the entire night, like I was talking about, everybody does everything all at the same time. Just throw it in the blender and give you a smoothie. Mm-hmm. Everybody's been doing an Eddie Guerrero themed tribute all night long. Everybody does a Three Amigos. Everybody does a Frog Splash.
Yes.
Same thing in this match. Everybody does their tributes. They're chanting Eddie, Eddie, Eddie. Sometimes they're chanting Eddie Guerrero. Sometimes they're chanting for Eddie Kingston. Sometimes they just don't know who they're chanting Eddie for. But there's an Eddie chant regardless.
Yes.
And CM Punk is getting booed in this match for absolutely no reason. They got behind Eddie because of what he's been doing on the mic before, but he still looks like a slob. He still looks like a ghetto piece of trash. He doesn't look like he's a real wrestler. CM Punk looked like a complete idiot in those shorts that he was in. But this match was chaos. There was a lot of violence. There was a lot of hatred and action and stuff. The crowd reactions were really fucked up and weird. CM Punk gets the win in the end because he told Kingston, you were a bum in the first place, and he pretty much showed him he's a bum.
11 minutes for the runtime for this one. To go to sleep by Punk, that's the 1-2-3 to some boos in the building.
Again, many. It was 50-50.
Yeah, that was 50-50, yeah.
They're booing CM Punk now for the same reason that they're giving Cody bad treatment, and for the same reason you're going to start to hear the Bryan Danielson chants dry up as well. The same reason. They're just booing because.
Just because, yeah, exactly. So JR just basically selling it. What a goddamn fist fight at the end. And, you know, it was just kind of more like just an MMA style fight. than anything else. If not even an MMA style fight, just more like a fight.
It was a street fight. It wasn't an MMA.
It's a hockey fight at one point.
Yeah.
I love the spot in the middle where they were in the opposing corners and they just charged at each other about 7 or 8 minutes in. I thought that was, and they just started just hammering each other just like in a hockey fight. That was good.
Well, I mean, like CM Punk, he structures good matches and everything. He just needs better competition than Eddie Kingston, someone who's more capable in the ring than him.
And that's the thing is, we're finding out what sort of commodity Punk is right now. That's it. Like, don't forget, he's only 2 or 3 months back into his comeback, and he had been off TV, not wrestling, not doing anything pro wrestling wise for 7 years. So it's like, you got to see where the water and the ship meet.
Well, from the way I see it, he's the biggest asset AEW has right now. He's the best, one of the best wrestlers that they have. He can still structure matches. He's still a genius. He needs better competition, and they need to start putting him in better matches. I understand he was there just to work with the young guys. The young guys aren't far along enough yet, where CM Punk is pulling great matches out of people.
I think that we'll slowly see a pivot here and that stuff, and I think that it all depends on the world title situation, how that goes with the 2 new players in the world title situation. Then we'll see. I guess Punk is basically the safety net with that in case something goes sideways along that route. So, I think that's it, because you don't know how long Mox is out for and so on and so forth. So, yeah. So
next,
we go to the Minneapolis street fight, the Inner Circle versus American Tag Team. The runtime for this thing was 1952, and all I'm going to say about this thing was, 2 things that I got for this. I popped at the I popped at the spot with Baron von Raschke putting the Iron Claw on Ethan Page, just because, again, old school wrestling fan. I laughed at that. I thought that was awesome. And second of all, we had already seen this match once before tonight on the card. This was the Lucha Bros, Christian Cage, Young Bucks, no DQ, 6-man, but just with more people. I didn't think the MMA guys looked overtly bad with the moves in the ring. I think that they obviously need a little bit more time if they want to pursue pro wrestling as a thing, as an out. But they were covered enough in this match that they didn't look overtly bad. Dos Santos is still a little stiff in his moving in the ring and that stuff, which was kind of a little distracting. And I think that he was broken halfway through the match because all he could do was just laugh at people, which was kind of, at a point of, okay, this is just, he's completely, lost it. Maybe he needs to focus a little bit in this thing just to get the match over. But we had seen this match already, whatever. Jericho gets his revenge on Lambert, who was doing, I think, a pretty good Bobby Heenan impersonation, which is all he needed to do basically in this thing. Just be the chicken shit manager and run around. But that's all it was. Nothing to write home about, but that's like the most notable stuff from it.
This is just complete garbage. Just next.
This could have been solved again with a TNT title match with Guevara versus Page or something like that. Ethan Page.
Also noteworthy, Guevara was taped up like a broken action figure as well, because everybody came into this thing was wrecked.
Yeah, his ribs are wrecked right now, supposedly. So it looks, that's it. Also Jericho, doing his Eddie Guerrero tribute as well. Almost in tears as he hits a frog splash for the 1-2-3 for the finish for this thing.
Again, that meant nothing to me because everybody all night long has been doing an Eddie Guerrero tribute. Yeah,
the thing is that it's everybody started thinking about this, and they needed the governor to say, okay, it only happens once in one match tonight, and this is the guy who's going to do it. That's the thing. But it was 16 years to the day we lost Eddie. It was in the same venue that Eddie wrestled his last match in, which was the Target Center in Minneapolis, and that's probably was the murmur around the crowd and that stuff and everything. So once was good enough, but for the rest of the night, it's like, just kind of just make a relax on that, please.
They did it all night long. It's one of those things, like you said, nobody's taking care of what's happening on the show and how to limit things. So everybody throws everything all against the wall in every single match, and they all blend together and feel the same.
So a guy that we had talked about, I think in our last live stream, made it official last night. He is in AEW, which means, it looks bad for Ring of Honor right now. It looks very bad for Ring of Honor right now. Jay Lethal is now part of All Elite Wrestling. He'll be taking on Sammy Guevara for the TNT title on Wednesday. So sign a contract and immediately get thrown into the TNT title match. Interesting.
At least he's a healthy wrestler, unlike every other tape job that goes out there.
I think that's probably it. I think he's he's probably a healthy, and that stuff, and he's got name value, like we said, in the live stream before. That's somebody we'd like to have seen, kind of thrown into the mix and that stuff and whatever. Just the quick aside, I saw that it was kind of a polarizing signing, because a lot of people that are saying, well, wasn't he named in the speaking out movement and that stuff, about 2 or 3 years ago, and his name did come up, but there was nothing found on those allegations at all. So his name was cleared eventually of everything, and the lawsuit was dropped against him. So again, guys, you can't torch somebody that it's been proven that there's nothing there.
My phone is giving me the warning.
Okay.
That being said, I would be very remiss. You're right about what you said. I'm sorry to cut you off like that. I'd be remiss if I didn't say this really quickly. Junior Dos Santos beat the guy that beat Brock Lesnar. So Junior Dos Santos is supposed to be a big name with big value, with big badass appeal. To bring him in the way that they have, without the long training, without giving him a big push, without teaching him how to wrestle properly, they have done nothing but a disservice to themselves and to him by doing this bullshit with him. They've completely dropped the ball on this asset, and it's completely fucked. And that match is complete bullshit. Okay,
there we go. That's back. the final word on a 10-man tag there. So
there we go.
All right, world title match. AEW World Championship, Kenny Omega versus Hangman Adam Page. This one itself ran 25-35, the culmination of a 2-year storyline, and Hangman walks out with the AEW World Championship. And I think we'll differ. I thought it was, I thought it was a great main event from front to back. I thought it was old school, pacing with, you had Callis being his devious worst as a manager, and at the end, the finish itself though really goofy. Again, that this pay-per-view suffered from a ton of goofy finishes, and that was one of them, with the whole nodding and Matt Jackson basically nodding to give the go-ahead for Adam Page to hit the buckshot in the 1, 2, 3. It kind of made me think that they were tossing Omega out of the Elite a little bit, and bringing Hangman in. So maybe that's supposing on the storyline. We did that all day,
instead of bringing Hangman in, the Dark Order came out and gave Hangman a hug.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the fuck that ending was.
So I don't. Yeah, exactly. I have no idea what that means whatsoever. So I think that was just maybe a whole thing that maybe the Elite won't mess with you for the next little bit for the championship.
Now, the one thing that you said that we brought up here, you said this is a 2-year story in the making. No, it isn't. Because for the longest time, Hangman Adam Page was out of the picture completely and not even on TV. He comes up randomly in their version of Money in the Bank and then gets rushed into this main event. And for a 2-year buildup, they rushed into this match, and it did not have the impact it was supposed to. Of having this 2-year culmination of them being a tag team that broke up to become enemies. Right. It was done. They can call it 2-year if they want to. It was done very poorly.
Yeah, and I think the only reason why it was a 2-year storyline itself was, in real life, it's a 2-year storyline because of the pandemic. You had to shelve some stuff, and you had outside factors with players that you wanted to bring in with this, to help this along that, aren't able to, or aren't with the company anymore, or have passed. In the case of Brody Lee, that we're probably going to have big gaps or big parts to play in this too, as well, right? So, but hey, it gives us finality. It gives us a fresh storyline. And now we got Hangman Adam Page versus Bryan Danielson for the AEW title somewhere down the line. Tony Khan was very mum about that in a post-game press conference when that would happen. So either one or two things will happen. One, I'd hate to see it, but they're going to use it for a rating to pull on a Wednesday or a Friday night if they're up against something hard on a SmackDown. That's going to happen, which sucks, but whatever. Or two, we wait until February and Revolution. That's the next pay-per-view that they do, and that's your main event for Revolution is Danielson Hangman.
Okay, but then what do you do with Omega from here going forward?
Yeah, that's the next question too. Is some say he's banged up, some say he was going to take some time away and re-heal and rethink. Some say he could be New Japan bound for Wrestle Kingdom as well. So this would definitely give him enough time to get over to New Japan for them to use him in an angle for something for Wrestle Kingdom. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. I would think that a lot of the scuttlebutt was that he was kind of banged up and nicked up going into this pay-per-view. So I'm thinking that maybe he's going to take a couple months off here to kind of, heal up, I guess. And then, because don't forget, he wasn't only the AEW World Champion for the majority of the year. He was the AAA World Champion and the Impact World Champion. So he was working all of those shows as well as AEW in the main event spot night after night. So going 20, 30 minutes, with that style that he wrestles, it's not good. So
yeah, no, he's probably pretty banged up. He's probably used up an entire roll of tensor tape by himself.
Yeah, exactly. Some quick facts about this show before we give our ratings. I just mentioned earlier that all three of Bryan Danielson's victories in the AEW Eliminator Tournament were KOs. Yes. Yep. The debuting Jay Lethal will wrestle Sammy Guevara Wednesday for the TNT Championship. If you're watching in Canada, like most of you are, it will be 6 p.m. Mountain. Make adjustments from wherever you live, whatever. TSN2 and Full Gear 2021 was originally supposed to be scheduled. Well, it's coming across the ticker right now on November 6th, 2021 at the Shavitz Arena in St. Louis, but they ended up moving it, and we eventually had it last night in St. Louis, or not in Minneapolis, I should say. Target Center. So there we go. So, and they moved it back a week because they realized, oh crap, UFC had a pretty big fight last weekend, so they didn't want to go head to head with UFC.
No,
so, yeah,
and a Canelo fight in boxing too.
Yes, exactly.
They would have got washed if they went up against those.
The pay-per-view numbers would have not been there. So hey, at least they're smarter than WWE.
Yes,
where WWE decided to let's put SummerSlam on a Saturday night opposite a Pacquiao pay-per-view.
Yeah, bad idea. Worst idea.
Okay, it comes to the time of the show where we give the show a rating out of 10. Mr. TL, what is your rating for Full Gear 2021 out of 10?
4.5. All
right.
I'm not going back for this pay-per-view. A lot of it just pissed me off in general. The only thing I enjoyed was the first match, which shouldn't have been the first match based on the way that it was done.
All right. There you go. So nothing really redeemable, nothing to go back on.
No.
Okay. Exact opposite here. I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10. The main event was good. Again, really enjoyed the main event. And there were some enjoyable spots on this pay-per-view. There really were. There were a ton of questionable finishes, but there were a lot of enjoyable moments, a lot of enjoyable matches that I found, very enjoyable. And like I said, we had discussed the first hour at length. We're going to differ on that.
The finishes made no sense. The little gimmicks made no sense. The cosplaying was annoying. The repetition was annoying. The Eddie tributes were endless.
Yeah.
It was just so much. Like, you're right. They needed somebody governing to say, maybe only one of this. Maybe only one of this type of dive. Maybe only one goddamn super kick. Fucking hell.
Exactly. Well, we'll differ as we often do. But I just want to say, hey, thanks again for jumping in.
You're welcome. And fuck you for making me watch this shit.
How can we follow you on the Twitter?
At TMLOUTAN. Give me the smoke. You're probably going to give some to me because I gave this a 4.5, but I don't care. That's my opinion. I stand by that shit. I certify that shit. Come at me.
Quick shout out to twitch.tv/lovewrestling.ca. There is news that the show that they had taped on October 15th will soon be imminent. Ooh, the big Love Wrestling Change the Game card from here in Edmonton at the South Edmonton Common. It's definitely a must watch. I was in attendance for it. Check it out. Once it releases, it'll be fun for sure. tinyurl.com/Nitromaniac TV. Comment below. Give us the smoke. If you like what we like, if you don't like what we liked, or if you whatever, or just share the video around. Let's get more subscribers. I've noticed since we started doing these, the subscriber count has gone up. We're at 127 right now. I would love to get to 200 by the end of the year. Let's get to 200.
Yeah.
And then, we can shoot our goals from there. But let's get to 200.
200.
Let's make that happen. That's your Maniac Army. Let's do it. Let's do it. Right, folks. Later days. Happy wrestling watching. Thanks again. That's been our thoughts on Full Gear 2021. I'm going to play a little video to play us out, and then we go. Bye-bye. See ya.